3 days after buying their dream home, a letter arrived. It said, "I have been put in charge of watching you." They never spent a single night inside.
I won't run from the storm. I arrive after it.
In one of the safest towns in America, on a tree-lined street filled with million-dollar homes, a family bought what they believed was their dream home. But only 3 days after closing, a letter arrived. It wasn't a welcome note. It wasn't junk mail. It was a warning. A typed message from somebody who claimed they had been watching the house for decades. Someone who knew the layout. Someone who knew the children. Someone who signed every letter with the same name, the Watcher. Tonight, we're diving into one of New Jersey's most chilling unsolved mysteries, the story of 657 Boulevard in Westfield, a case that blurred the line between stalking, obsession, psychological terror, and possibly something far stranger. This is the true story behind the Watcher House. Westfield, New Jersey is not the kind of place where nightmares happen. Located about 25 miles outside Manhattan, it's known for top-rated schools, low crime rates, historic homes, and quiet suburban life. For generations, families moved here for safety, which is why what happened in 2014 shocked not just Westfield, but the entire country. At the center stood a large Dutch colonial house built in 1905, located at 657 Boulevard. The house had history. It had character. And according to the person who would soon write the letters, it also had watchers. In June 2014, Derek and Maria Broaddus purchased this six-bedroom home for roughly $1.3 million. Maria had grown up nearby. Buying this house felt like returning home. They hadn't even moved in yet. Renovations were underway when Derek stopped by one evening to check the property. Inside the mailbox was an envelope, hand addressed, no return address. It read simply, "The new owner." At first, Derek thought it was a neighbor welcoming them. He was wrong. The letter began politely, then it changed. The writer claimed their family had been watching the house for generations, dating back to the 1920s and 1960s. They asked disturbing questions. Do you know what lies within the walls? Why are you here? Then came the line that terrified the family. The writer referred to the Broaddus children as young blood. The letter also revealed something worse. The sender knew construction crews were arriving. They knew details only someone nearby could see. Someone was watching the house in real time. The Broadduses immediately contacted police. Detective Leonard Lugo began investigating. But detectives faced a major problem. There were no fingerprints, no surveillance footage, no witnesses. The previous owners, the Woods family, admitted they had received one strange letter shortly before moving out, but dismissed it as harmless. Now the tone had escalated dramatically. The Broadduses stopped bringing their children to the property. Their dream home became a source of dread. And then another letter arrived. The second letter proved this wasn't a prank. The writer described the children's movements. They asked whether more children would come to fill the house. They wrote, "Have they found what is in the walls yet?" The implication was chilling. Either the watcher lived nearby or had direct sight lines into the home. Neighbors suddenly became suspects. Every passing car felt suspicious. Every curtain movement felt intentional. Westfield, once peaceful, began to feel watched. Police conducted what officials later described as an exhaustive investigation, but no suspect could be confirmed. Investigators considered a next door neighbor with unusual behavior, or local residents obsessed with neighborhood history, former contractors, and even someone within the community circle. DNA recovered from one of the envelopes indicated a female profile, but it matched no one tested. Neighbors were asked to submit DNA voluntarily. Some refused. The mystery deepened. As media attention exploded, public opinion fractured. Some believed a neighbor was responsible. Others suspected something more controversial. What if the letters were a hoax? Online speculation accused the Broaddus' family themselves, suggesting financial motives. But investigators found no evidence supporting that theory. Still, suspicion damaged relationships. The neighborhood became divided. Trust disappeared, and the house remained empty. Unable to move in, the Broadduses sued the previous owners, claiming they failed to disclose the earlier letter. That lawsuit was dismissed. Attempts to demolish the house and subdivide the lot sparked community backlash.
An update now on the flight to tear down $1 million house because creepy letters were sent there. The owners of the so-called Watcher House in Westfield, New Jersey, now filed a lawsuit against the town. 2 months ago, the planning board rejected the family's proposal to replace the house with 2 smaller ones. The owners claim the current house must go because a stalker dubbed the Watcher sent them letters about filling the place with, quote, young blood.
And at one point, tenants rented the home. Then another Watcher letter appeared. The nightmare continued. Eventually, after years of fear and financial strain, the family sold the house in 2019 for hundreds of thousands of dollars less than they paid. They never lived there, not even one night.
New Jersey homeowners scared off by a series of creepy letters have sold the house at a loss. 5 years after purchasing the Westfield home, the family finally sold it for $400,000 less than what they paid. The couple says they never even moved in after a series of letters from an anonymous stalker known as the Watcher. One asked if they were bringing young blood into the home and asked for the names of the children. The writer was never identified.
So who was the Watcher? Theories include possibly a neighbor, someone with a direct view of the home could monitor renovations and movements, or a local obsessed with history. The letters reference the home's age and legacy, suggesting deep familiarity. Or a group, or multiple writers. The tone shifted between letters. Or maybe a psychological harassment. A person seeking control rather than violence. Despite years of investigation, private detectives, and even former FBI involvement, no suspect was ever charged. The identity of the Watcher remains unknown today. In 2018, a detailed magazine investigation turned the story into a national sensation. In 2022, Netflix released The Watcher, dramatizing the case and introducing millions to the mystery. But the show exaggerated many elements. The real horror wasn't hidden tunnels or secret cults. It was something far more unsettling. A normal suburban home where fear arrived through the mailbox. Today, another family lives at 657 Boulevard. No confirmed Watcher letters have surfaced publicly since the sale. The investigation remains unresolved, and Westfield returned, at least outwardly, to normal. But the question still lingers. Someone wrote those letters, someone watched, and someone perhaps still nearby, the watcher knows exactly what happened. This was another video from Tales from the Tombs NJ. Please like and subscribe to see more content like this. Thank you.